Alright, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Chupacabra's Lair. I'm your host, Larry the Chupacabra, and today we're back to check out another mobile game. This one is Monster Age by the company Ginku, and this is a game all about taking a ragtag team of these cute little monster critters and going out and murdering other monster critters in different environments and places in order to become the king of the monsters, and also eat them and evolve and grow more powerful. It's very much sort of Charles Darwin's survival of the fittest meets Digimon or Pokemon, and the primary goal is to min-max your team of characters, because you've got a group of these suckers. I've got a team of 4, and they correspond to the primary elements. You've got fire, water, plant-based creatures, lightning-based, fire-based. What you might imagine from a Pokemon-esque game, also including, you know, like good and evil, so like angelic creatures and demonic creatures, and you build a team in order to counter other creatures so that you can eventually save your brethren, because an evil demigod stole them, so you have to become king of the monsters in order to save them and, you know, eat all the other monsters, because, I mean, you are monsters, and they're cute, but delicious. So, this game is currently available for pre-registration to download it. It's gonna be free to play. It's one of those freemium games. You can pre-register to download it right now on prelaunch.me, and if you do that, you get 500 of this in-game currency, these blue shells that you spend money on, and you also get a 5-star, not a 5-star, but a 4-star monster to start you out. So you get one of these guys at 4-star, which is actually a pretty good starting level. I had to grind out for a little while to get some 3-star monsters, and it'll definitely save you some time, but it's not super overpowered. But before I get into too much of those minute details, I'll just show you guys what the gameplay or the combat looks like inside of this game by heading into the adventure mode. So, each one of these different areas that you go into has a number of different stages that end off in a boss stage where you fight the boss of the area so you can progress to the next zone, and each one of them has a different number of waves of enemies, and like you might imagine, you know, like a desert environment's gonna have a lot of lightning and fire-based critters, and then if you go to the beach, you're gonna fight a lot of plant-based or aquatic-based critters like fish and jellyfish and Uncle Bob, who's, you know, only wearing his Speedo and covered in way too much suntan lotion. So the idea is you need to swap in and out characters and monsters as you get them in order to best face off against different challenges, so you don't get your pants kicked in. But we're just gonna start out in the middle of the first area, just to give you guys a sense. And we'll just hit next. And we've only got one group of monsters that I'm gonna be playing around with right now, but they're pretty sufficient. I mean, I've designed them to be pretty all-purpose, but, you know, stuff happens. What are you gonna do? So, the primary gameplay of this game happens automatically. Your characters all have a rotation that they attack in with their basic attacks based on how agile and fast they are on their stats page. And as you go through murdering different creatures, you'll notice that they have a little blue bar at the bottom of their health pool. That's not mana or anything. That is, in fact, just their action points so that they can eventually charge up a turbocharged laser blast of some variety. Each different creature has a different ability, and the primary amount of control that you have in this game is just tapping and clicking and dragging to activate them so that you use them at the right time to get the most out of them, depending on the number of monsters that you're fighting. Sometimes you don't end up needing it, like this is a pretty simple and straightforward fight, but other times it tends to be make or break in different environments whether or not you use your abilities. But I will admit, in this game, there's not a lot of depth to the combat system. It's really just you build your team outside of combat with the correct sort of counter to the environment. Like in this case, water-based stuff is especially effective against these fire electrical types, but pretty much anything will do because I'm really spicy and really powerful. So it's really just a by-the-numbers type of system. You build your team and you set them out to go maul the countryside, and then you get various rewards for completing different missions. Like I got some fish, which you can feed to different creatures to increase their experience, and then you've got some bits of eggs, and also some of these 4-leaf clovers that you can use to heal your monsters in between waves. Now, before we get into a slightly harder zone, I'm going to switch around my team. So currently what I've got is I've got my leader, my team leader, one of the starting story characters, and he does electrical damage and does a really cool lightning storm, which does massive AoEs to all the enemies that you're fighting. I've got a fire guy, which is, I guess, one of his brothers that I ran into by chance. I've got my electric griffin, and of course, I've got an adorable little murder monkey. And the murder monkey is not the greatest for the next zone. The next zone is full of fire people, and they're not very friendly. So I'm gonna get rid of him, and I'm gonna replace him with a water-type critter, and that's going to be this little koi fish. It's like a pink Japanese koi fish is what it kind of looks like. And in fact, I'll even show you guys how you level these critters up. So you go into your monsters tab, which is just a list of all of your critters, and I'm going to select this koi fish. And one of the things that you can do, and it's one of the more morbid aspects of the game, is in order to power up a creature, you gotta feed it all of its brothers and sisters. It's very cannibalistic and infanticidal, however you want to say that. So we'll click absorb, and I'm gonna feed it this other koi fish, which will maximize the level cap here, which will allow me to level it up further, make it more powerful, and if I get that level cap to 99, I'll be able to evolve this fishy into Super Murder Death Koi, probably Cthulhu, just pink Cthulhu. But I only have one koi that I can feed them right now, which will slightly limit how much I can really do with them. But I do have some other critters down here I can feed to them. A lot of these one-star critters aren't that valuable for anything in particular, but I can absorb all of these for 7,000 of the in-game currency, which will give me a nice little boost to my level cap. It's easiest to get him to level cap if you feed him more of the brother and sisters, though, so that's the takeaway here. So that's all I really want to do from there. Now I can also increase the fish's level by feeding, I think it's a her, I mean it's pink, am I wrong in thinking it's a her? I can feed Karpinku more of these fish, which is a little bit more cannibalistic, I know, and then I can sort of boost up its level using some other in-game currency that I had to fight to obtain through a limited event that takes place each week. So now they're level 30, and that's not a terrible level. I've also got this guy who's actually only level 28, so let's feed you some more fish, Rodagon, because you're my team captain. You can't just be all weak and getting your pants kicked in. That ain't gonna fly. Alright, that's pretty sufficient. Now let's try your brother Fugen. Fugen. Actually, you need to be absorbed, so I can't really do anything, but he can evolve, but I don't have him to the max level. But that's part of how you min-max in this game. You can also craft items and different pieces of gear through the item craft list. Let me see here. This is just my items list, but I have a crafting menu where I can increase their HP or their damage or other various stats with various items. And in order to create these items, you have to go out and accomplish certain missions. You have to go out and participate in some of these special quests, like the meat harvest, the meat feast. And the meat feast then allows you to get a whole bunch of fish in order to level up your characters faster, to give yourself an edge, or maybe you're having some difficulty in the game and you just need a leg up or something. That's when you do the meat feasts. But before we do any of those, we'll go and do the next area in the adventure just to show you what it's like. Let's fight this one. I haven't done a lot in this one. So basically we're fighting fiery insects. That's sort of the goal here. And like I was saying, the game is primarily about you designing your team strategically. There isn't a lot to say about what you need to do in the game. It's more of a slower resource management type of strategy game as opposed to fast-paced action. So you're really just focused on activating the special abilities when they become available, or just letting them hang there if you want to save them for later in this particular level, where I've got 3 waves of critters that I need to deal with. So I'm going to want to hang on to Karpinku's laser blast, which is basically an orbital bombardment laser beam, until I get a little bit further in here. And I could even hit this potion button to use some of my healing items if I absolutely felt I needed to. You can get a bunch of free healing potions over time if you watch ads by clicking on this button, which is kind of weird. But I mean, these freemium games are all about trying to make some money, so I guess it's understandable. So I can actually enable autopilot here, and autopilot will use their abilities for you when it thinks it's the right time. I don't always like autopilots in games like this. They're really common. Part of the reason is that the autopilot is not generally as good at deciding when to use the abilities as you or I. I think that's intentional, otherwise the game would just play itself, so what would be the point? And I don't know, it just has bad timing, it uses it on the wrong creature, although it's sometimes hard to determine which creature is going to be attacked next. It can often be rather arbitrary. So, it's kind of hit or miss, but you can use the autopilot. I wouldn't recommend it, though. So I can actually turn that off, and I can actually increase the speed at which everything goes here. And there you saw my main captain, my team captain's like lightning ability, where he just decimates the entire field with his crazy lightning magic. He is nothing to mess around with. He'll touch your butt, like, believe you me. Alright, that'll do for right now. Let's go back to base. So there's a lot of other stuff you can do in this game. There's PvP. Later on, you can engage in some raid quests, which is a long way off for me. There's a lot of guild action that you can get into where you collaborate with other people to murder giant, scary monstrosities. But a lot of what you'll end up doing is you'll go through each of these areas to do specialty missions in order to get extra meat, extra eggs so you can hatch more creatures. And some of these are actually limited to certain days of the week. Like this is only available on Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday. This one's only available on Sunday and Tuesday. There's all sorts of stuff in here. And the higher difficulties unlock at higher levels, which would make sense. So you can come in here and get the equipment that you need to better outfit your team to murder other monsters. I will be honest with you, there isn't a whole lot of depth to the gameplay. You really have to enjoy strategically putting together a team, and there's really nothing for you to control in combat, and for a lot of people the autopilot might be sufficient. But there is a certain amount of fun that a lot of people have in min-maxing, so this would be a game for the people that like to do that sort of thing. You've also got daily sort of turn-ins or items that you can claim, like I accomplished a mission earlier in the game, so I got 400 of the in-game currency, and I'll claim that right now. And I will say, one of the nice things about this game is that there is always, like, they're not stingy with the in-game currency, the premium currency, where a lot of games try to nickel and dime you to death. And there's also the latest news, where the monster of the month. You've also got different quests where you can accomplish different achievements, absorb 3 monsters, gain a bunch of extra XP, and then you've got weekly missions where you gain some extra crafting material, like this silver stone. I think that's just a silver rock that you can use to craft different pieces of gear. So there's different rewards that you can get spaced throughout, and they also, like, here you go. This lady, this is our flower-based sister. She's telling us that it's time for me to do PvP. So now I can start engaging in PvP with other players, which I don't really want to do right now. But my flowery sister's really enthused about it. And there's also periodic gifts, like you get some extra currency when you log in every day, and you get like a free ghost creature that's 3 stars, which isn't bad. You can get some free rewards in here. What do they got for me today? I've got some bark that I can use to craft. Ooh, I got a 2-star monster that's all cute and fishy. I'll turn you into sushi later, my dear. Bet you didn't realize that you were delicious. Oh, I got even, for logging in 4 days in a row, I got even more free stuff. Oh, isn't that handy? I got a bunch of egg parts, I got some scarabs. And that's something I didn't mention is how the scarabs work, but we won't worry about that just yet. But with all of this stuff, we can go hatch ourselves some monsters. So let's see, I've got enough parts for 11 egg hatches. 11 times egg hatch, where I got a praying mantis creature, I got a mushroom monster. That one's great for Burning Man, by the way. I got a cute little owl in case we know any wizards that need to go to wizarding school, another praying mantis. Yeah, you get the picture. You can hatch different creatures, and then even if they're not the strongest, you can feed them to each other to make them stronger. Survival of the fittest and all that crazy stuff. And then you can also go into the monster manual up here and learn more about each kind of creature that you see in here. Like, I just got access to a Punio, which has some fair single target damage and does bleeding damage, and it's a fire type. And then I've also got this sucker, which is a stinging moth monstrosity. Almost said Pokemon, but didn't. And yeah, so I get a reward for discovering you. What did I get? I got some extra in-game currency. So like, they're not super stingy, which is nice. Now they do still want to make some money off of you. Like, you can use in-game currency to buy more of the golden shells, or you can buy some of these blue shells for anywhere between $3 and $100, which, I don't know, I always kind of feel like some of these games could just be pay once and play, but that's freemium games, are real popular, what can you do? So before we wrap it up here, let's go on another adventure here. Let's fight the boss here. I think we can handle the boss. We haven't defeated this yet, but if we had completed a round in this mission, we'd be able to go into here, for example, and click on these buttons to instantly complete a certain number of this mission. And then you have a chance of winning back these golden scarabs that you spend in order to do that, but oftentimes you don't get those back. It's not quite as good an XP, but it makes it faster to get some of these rewards, where as you complete these maps so many times on different difficulties, you get some extra swag as a reward. Kinda grindy, I will say that. Let's see. I want to go back, I want to kill that boss. So who's the boss here? It's Mantero, the flying bat manatee monster. The 4 brothers and the band reach the tropical island, a tropical island with a beautiful sandy beach and some poisonous monsters. I'm sure I won't regret this at all. Let's go fight the thing. Come on, let's go to battle. Go, monster touchy. Murder all the faces. Oh, you know what? I just realized that these guys are water-based, and this might not go so hot for our fiery friend here. But we will find out in a moment. Not doing too bad, honestly. They're not using any water-based attacks or anything. So we might make out of this okay. It's actually looking like the person that does the least amount of damage right now is our pink fish. Pinky, winky, dinky doo. Don't click on the free potion. I don't want the free potion. So I'm gonna heal Carpinku, our magic murder carp, up a little bit. We'll proceed on, and if we had somebody pass out, we can revive them with that other one. Let's just use both these abilities, why not? We'll use some lightning on the seahorse, and then Carpinku will use the murder death rays from space. Is that the boss? That could be the boss. I didn't actually read how many different waves we'd be facing in this particular round. But it might not matter, because we're just beating these animals straight to death. My team's not super overpowered, but it's right on the edge of being murdered by just about anything. So let's go back, and I really need to heal up the team this time. Let's heal you back up. These healing potions can be a bit of a crutch, but if you've ever played a game like Pokemon, you'd be lying if you said, oh, let's leave this island now. Enough bugs for me. Our raft is ready. Shall we go? Wait, there's a shadow behind you. Oh no, what? Alright, so we just got snuck up on by this giant murder bat who wants to eat our dreams. Who's a mutated flying manta ray. Not the best. I am Mantero, the dark manta. Let me devour your dreams too, sweetie, slurp. Or Chiva, watch out. Let's protect our big sis, you guys. Yeah, let's do that. Let's protect our big plant sister. Because, well, I think the plant sister is probably secretly like the boss of this game. She could probably mess all these guys right up. Now, the fish aren't putting up a super load of a fight, but they do hurt a little bit. Go, get him. Get him, Griffin. That's right, tase him real good. Make it extra nice and exfoliating. Let's get some devastating lightning rain. Just like the chocolate rain, but not something you can put into milk to make chocolate milk, which is slightly disappointing, but hey, what can you do? Alright, but yeah, that's Monster Age for you. And if you're interested, you can pick this game up on prelaunch.me, and yes, this video is sponsored by prelaunch.me. You go over there, you pre-register, you get some extra swag, including some free seashells for in-game currency, and a 4-star monster to get you started. And until next time, I've been your host, Larry the Chupacabra. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. And yeah, my basic response on this game is, it's basically a game where you strategically design a team of monsters to go fight other monsters, and you go along a cute little storyline, but there's not a lot of depth in the combat, and that might be a turnoff for a lot of people. So until next time, do the likey subscribe thing, and I'll catch you later. Bye, everybody.